Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Making the Women of Real Estate Wealthy. This is not about making you mediocre. It's not about you losing money in the industry. It is about totally making you wealthy in a way that maybe you've never even thought possible before.
Let's go, take it to the top, and we don't stop, 'cause it's now or never. Let's go, take it to the top, and we don't stop, 'cause it's now.
So, we haven't done a Q&A like this in a long time because, and there's a reason for that, not because we didn't want to, but because we launched something last year called Making Agents Wealthy, and it has been crazy busy. There's myself and a team of women that are just dedicated every single day to making sure that the women we work with, and I'm sorry you're looking at my register up there, I'm seeing lights and registers, it's okay, not a big deal, but we've been so busy and so passionate about working with the women. Not that we don't like men. We absolutely love men. So as people are hopping on here, I'm just going to be answering your questions, the questions that you guys have placed out for us. And you're going to want to have pen and paper. You're going to want to have notes. You will absolutely want to take some good notes on what I'm going to be answering for you today. So before we get into that though, I'm just going to tell you and share with you that if I can teach you all the skills in the world, I can teach you all the systems in the world. But if you don't have the mindset to hold the container, what do I mean by that? You have to have this container that can hold the belief system around the income that you're going to be making. You're going to have a bigger container. I love how TD Jake says, you know, you've got a 3-gallon bucket, but you have 5-gallon dreams. And it's like, I love that. If you have these 5-gallon dreams, they're not going to fit in that 3-gallon bucket, right? So I love when he says that. But what we're saying is you've got to be able to stretch your mindset. You're going to have to hold this new income level that you guys are wanting to create for yourselves and for your family. It is not about a new system, a new skill, yes, you absolutely have to have those too, and I'll be talking about that in just a moment, but it is really about you stretching yourself. So I wrote down some notes here, and I wrote that, you know, you have no idea what you are being called to do. You know, we sit on this side of life and say, this is my dream, this is where I'm headed, but really, we have no idea how big it can be and how big your business or your life is being called to expand. So I want you just to sit back, take notes, ask questions. I already have the questions that I have downloaded that you guys have been putting into the group. Again, welcome. I'm Karen Coffey. This is Making the Women of Real Estate Wealthy. So welcome again. So I have a question for you. If we don't know where we're headed, if we don't know how big we can get, we have to think about, well, when are we going to get there? How much runway do we have before we crash? And it may not be business runway. It might be, how much emotional runway do I have? How much health runway do I have before things start to kind of take a different shape and maybe crash? So you have to ask yourself, am I biding my time? Is there something that I need to be doing differently because maybe I don't have a lot of runway? And I think that you'll hear in the message today exactly what it is that we're looking to do for you, and that is expand your mindset, expand your runway, expand your time. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into your questions here. Let me see. Before I do, one last thing. I wanted to just discuss the reason I do this. The reason I do this is, number one, I'm a woman. Why do we work with women? And we love men, but I am a woman. We are so dialed into what the women need, what women are looking for to expand their business. So we have a team, like I said, of women that we're just dialed into that. We have different roles. We're mother, daughter, spouse, lover, friend, and life happens, right? Life happens. And when it does, are we able to handle it all? Will our business continue? Will we have consistency? That's going to be a big question for you. How do you handle it all? Because you know what, guys? Life doesn't stop. It just does not stop. So how can we expand? How can we create an empire or a small business and have that CEO mindset? So we want to teach you how to handle it all. As a struggling single mom, I know exactly what it was like. And I was graced by God by, giving me some systems and how to do this business in a way where I only had to work 20 to 30 hours a week if I wanted to. Now, I am a workaholic. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm not. But I love working because I love what I do. All right. So let's get into your questions. And the first one was from Denise Linden, and I love this. She said, I'm trying to not fire a buyer couple I've been working with for 6 months. The wife is lovely, but the husband is a belligerent bully. So first of all, you're trying not to. It comes back to how valuable is your time? And I know that a commission check is a commission check is a commission check, but guys, there is more to life than money. So if you are holding on to a client because of that commission check, and I know you put 6 months into it, I've been there, or a year, I would say you need to first write out your value, write out what value you bring to your clients. And you have to believe it. You have to read it every day. And then I would call them into a meeting. And I would say, hey, guys, I just want to meet you guys. Maybe it's before your next showings. Whatever it is, go and meet with them. And then kind of have a come to Jesus meeting. So when you have that come to Jesus meeting with a client, what you're saying is that I am valuable. What I've got going on, yes, I love working with you guys, but I really have to cut my losses somewhere. I really have no desire to work with people that don't respect my time or don't respect me as a person. So you've really got to cut your losses because you've probably, and I have done it, lost 3 clients just by working with one that didn't respect your time. So make sure that you are having those come to Jesus meetings, all right? If you've got a client that is not respecting you or your time, you got to cut them off, all right? So now the next question is from Wendy Susan. She says, I'm struggling getting new listings. So we always know that consistent action brings consistent income. So if you are looking to get listings, you really have to focus on that. You want to kind of put your buyers aside for a little bit, and consistent action brings consistent income. What does that mean? Every day, there's not a question what you're doing and who you're going after. But we don't chase leads ever. Do not chase. I liken it to, and we talk about this in my masterclass, which I can give you a link to later, but we liken it to a doctor-patient frame. That doctor is not cold calling you saying, hey, who do you know that needs to have heart surgery? That doesn't happen. I don't want you guys doing that either. So there's a very non-salesy way of doing it. But the problem is that most agents don't know effective activities. They hear, hey, I need to cold call, I need to door knock, I need to do all the activities that we were doing in 1906 when the NAR was founded. They founded it and they decided to mirror their business model after the Fuller Brush Company, which was launched in 1904. And guys, I don't know what you think it might be, but it is not 1904. So there's other effective ways of doing it, but you really have to focus. In the masterclass, which is, you can go over there, it's KarenCoffey.com / and Coffey's with a Y at the end, but / making agents wealthy. But once you watch the masterclass, we talk about those effective ways of getting more listings, really focusing on how to get more of those leads. And so we'll be answering that question in a minute as well. We give you some ideas on that. Now, I love this one. So Danette Cook asked, she says, my appraiser won't talk to me because he says he's not allowed. And in this day and age, there's a reason, right? They don't want the agent influencing the appraiser. They don't want the appraiser changing his mind. So here's a little tip that I want to give Danette. What you do is after the property goes under contract, take the lockbox off. After the inspection is done, usually the appraiser doesn't come out until right before, after the inspection. So take the lockbox off. He has to call you and you're like, great, I'll meet you at the property and I'll let you in. I do not want you guys bending his ear. I don't want you telling them all the reasons why that this property needs to be appraised 20,000 over what everything else has been appraised. But what I do want you to do is print out your sheets. There may be some reasons that you know that the property is worth a little more. Maybe you know the neighborhood, you know some extenuating circumstances. This is what you do want to let them know. So what I do is I print out my sheets, I open the door and I said, hey, I printed this off for you, have a great day. And I hand them my sheets of information. I have made notes on that, or I have, so it is a great tip on how to get the appraiser kind of to talk to you. So anyway, that was from Jeanette, awesome. All right, so the next question comes from Tracy Briscoe Henry. She says, I just don't know who to call first. I'm still new, but way behind for someone with a 1.5-year license. Should I call for sale by owners, expireds, spend more time on Facebook or next door? There's just so many options my head is spinning, and I need to get this business going. There seems to be a residential real estate agent on every block, and every block, if not two, just being honest. All right, so how do I solve this? So what I'm going to tell you is that every city, every state, every place you are, there's an agent on every block. Your market is not going to be any different than anybody else's. There are agents everywhere, but there's only maybe 10 to 20% that actually work. So you don't have to worry about the competition because, Tracy, nobody's like you, first of all. You're authentic to you. You're going to bring your authentic style. But there's really only 7 things you need to worry about in real estate total. And social media is not one of them right now. I'm not saying it doesn't have its place. You can certainly make a post and get referrals. You just never know. But we want consistent income, right? We don't want just a piece here and a piece here and a closing every other month. We want consistency because we want consistent income. So there's 7 things, and you might want to write it down, well, I don't really need to read them, but I will just to keep in line. So is to launch or relaunch your business. Now, you haven't been in business for that long, so I would be launching it. Now, if you've been in business for a while and you're watching this, you need to relaunch it. Number 2, learn how to get skilled at getting 20 to 30 people into those listings the very first week that it is listed, all right? And so that is a skill that you're going to want to learn. 3, you need to focus on results-oriented marketing, not ego marketing. Do you guys know what I mean by that? It is not about you. It is not about your brokerage. It is about what can you do for them. What is it? You know, everybody likes that, what's in it for them. But what are the results that you can do? So results marketing. You're also going to want to focus on a quality online lead generation system. It's not Zillow, it's not Realtor, it is not, just quality. Not Trulia, not Realtor.com, not any of those. You're going to want to really focus on the quality ones. So we do go into this in the masterclass that I talked to you about. Again, FSBOs and expireds, you're going to learn how to convert them. We're not chasing them. We're not cold calling them. There's a way of doing it to where they know that they're heard, they know that they're valued, and we're not promising that old script, oh, I want to preview your home, I have buyers. It's like, oh gosh, no, that's not what we want to do. So if anything, we just want to show so much value. There's nobody like us. There's nobody like you. And if they don't hire you, they don't get you. And if you can come from that confidence, when you're new, it's hard. But I'll tell you, I see it every day, transformation. And it is transformation in the way that people are presenting themselves, showing value, and having so much confidence. Not cockiness, but casual confidence. So, what did I mention? I mentioned launching, getting 20 to 30 people into your new listings, results-oriented marketing, your FSBOs and expireds, of course, online lead gen. And then the last 2, you're going to, our clients get about 100 to 150 leads a month, and they get into this place of overwhelm. And so what we teach them to do is you need to really focus on leverage at that point. You cannot do everything that there is. The National Association of Realtors mentions that there's like 152 things to close one transaction. If you have more than 2 or 3, you can't do it alone. I know some of you, I can see who's on, and some of you have teams, have mega teams, have great leverage. If you're an independent agent, it's going to be difficult to close more than 4 per month. Now, it's not that it can't be done, But when you start getting into big numbers, you're really going to want to get skilled in how to leverage. So Tracy, that's one. And then the last thing, the seventh thing I'm going to tell you guys to do, and it's so important, create a machine. Create a machine. Remember we talked about life happens. Life happens and someone gets ill, or you want to go to Europe for a month, or gosh, your car stops, it stops working, and everything kind of just can fall apart at a moment's notice. If you have a machine, nothing slows down, your income doesn't dip. Creating automation and creating a machine is what I'm going to tell you is the last thing. Even as a new agent, even if you think I don't have experience in this business, you can do it. Now, if you've been in the business a little bit longer, you're going to have a little bit more fortitude to do it. But new agents are doing it all the time. I always like to share the story. You know, Jane was one of our clients, and she was a buyer's agent. She had only closed one transaction for the year, and that was last March. And she was scared. She was leaving the team. She was able to close $100,000, I think it was $497 in 90 days. And that was the 90 days that she was with us, and our team was working with her. So one transaction, strictly had worked with buyers. It was just crazy. So Tracy, you can do it. Don't despair. Just focus. Don't spend money after bad. Don't spend your time on Facebook at this point. That's not where it's at for you. Consistency, consistent systems, and creating a machine. So, awesome question. All right. The next one is, everybody had this one. Oh my God, time management, right? How do I stay on schedule? How do I fit everything into a day? This is huge because, again, like we talked about, life happens. You're going to you didn't get into real estate for someone to say, hey, you've got to show up at 9 and leave at 4. And that is not what I'm going to tell you either. The hours that I want you to work, excuse me, I want you to start getting your head in the game about 8:30 in the morning. Just so you know, what's my commitment? Why am I doing this? If you don't know why you're doing it, and it's not money, it typically isn't. It's not for the new yacht. It's not for a new house. It is typically so that you can be the very best that you know yourself to be. In other words, you feel as though you can be so much better, that you are, gosh, you have so much inside, you have so much potential, and you just want to be the very best. Now, yes, you may have, hey, I want to pay off debt, I want to pay for college, I want to pay cash for my next home. You may have those things, but if you don't have this big motivator, you need to find out what's going to make you do the hard things when you don't want to do the hard things. So that's the first thing you do at 8:30 in the morning, and I like you to be out by 11 or 12, usually 12. You get your day done. You get your day done because you're going to always feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel scared. You're going to feel behind. You're going to feel like you're crushing under the pressure if you don't get your things done in the morning. So what that means, you know, I always have that saying, if you don't pay my mortgage, you don't get my mornings. And it is true for all of us. So that means we're saying no to the hair appointments. We're saying no to the appraiser. We're saying no to the inspection. There's so much more into this. But here's what I wrote. So we just need to be prepared for life, right? Life is not going to stop happening. Things are going to happen. This is not news to us. We know that things are going to come at us all the time. So when they do, you want to be prepared. So what does that look like? You may need to have some proactive things in place. So leverage is going to be one of those. You want to have your discipline of staying in the office 8:30 to 11, doing your work, making sure that that's done. And then guess what? After 11, it's a free-for-all. You're going on appointments, you're following up, you're doing whatever you want to do, spending time with the family, going to the park, whatever it floats your boat. That's what you want to do. If you are disciplined enough, there is no such thing as luck. Luck is not what brings consistent income to you. So you're going to want to have that discipline. You're also going to want to be prepared. Again, if you need a sitter, if you need dog sitters, if you need whatever, get somebody to help you. I love Instacart. If you don't have time to go to the grocery store, get on Instacart. That is the most time-saving thing in the world. I don't know the last time I've been to a grocery store. So it's just awesome. And they deliver it and it only costs like a couple of bucks. So anyway, that's my biggest time-saving tip of all. But You do have to have a huge motivator. You do have to be disciplined. I'm just looking at my notes here. You want to be prepared. You want to have systems. If you don't have systems, everything depends on you. If you don't have leverage, everything depends on you. And guess what? That is a lot of pressure and a lot of things that aren't going to work out right over time. It's not that it's a negative thing, it's just the reality of the business. So you get to make a choice. So we do talk a lot about, for those of you who weren't on earlier, it's a masterclass, it's recorded. You just go to KarenCoffey.com/making agents wealthy, and you can watch that masterclass. It's 5 steps that our agents take to make 100K in 100 days. And that was based on my own experience of being that single mom and just couch surfing, my son and I, in basements, and I didn't know where to go next. So we went right into, on my knees actually, and asking, what is it that I need to be doing? And every week I did something systematic for 12 weeks that created $103,000 in just a little under 100 days. So it was not luck. It was listening and following through. You know, I can tell you things all day long, but if you don't follow through, then what? You're still in the same place. And like we said earlier, how much runway do you have before you're going to crash, right? So don't crash, health-wise, emotional-wise, financially, in your business. Stop. So, okay, let's get back to more questions. And I'm just going to be on here for a couple more minutes. So I have a listing in a market. I've had a listing in the market for a while. Need some ideas how to sell it quickly. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, if you've had a listing for, over 3 months and it just hasn't sold, you have, we always have 10 ways of selling your home that most agents don't know about or don't have the courage to tell you. But they're things that sellers don't want to do. So it's just a marketing piece that we send out. So if you have a listing, get it appraised. Have the seller pay for it. Say, I'll reimburse you at closing, but the appraiser is not going to overprice it. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the appraiser doesn't have a dog in this fight. He is going to appraise it at the price that it should sell, the fair market value. So if you see that they don't want to do that, then you're just going to have to go in and go for a large price reduction yourself. I always like to invite the best agents in my office and say, hey guys, I need your opinion. Now you can do a broker's open, but if you don't want to go through that whole thing of having a broker's open and having lunch and all of that, just grab the top agents and say, I really need your help on pricing, or your broker, and take them over there with the seller at home. And just really have a honest opinion about, it's not about doing more marketing. It's not about, even though if it's a specialty property, it can be like an equestrian property or a historic property, you can do some marketing to really bring people into that and get traffic. If you have not gotten 20 to 30 people in, that's the next thing you want to do, making sure that you are doing the marketing around that. And we talk about that on the masterclass. All right. Sarah Haney, I don't know how to effectively generate leads. Training in my office is a little bit limited. Everybody has this question. So lead gen, prospecting, lead follow-up, ditto. So I don't know how to effectively generate leads. Okay, so I talk about the machine, creating a machine. And what I mean by that, you want to eventually automate your business to where it works, whether you're in it or not. That is the case. That's where you want to go. To effectively lead generate, first of all, you have to have skill. It's not about scripts. It is not about coming across salesy. It is not about, hey, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest? It's not about that. It is about being very authentic to you. You're an authentic person. Finding out what that authentic voice is, because most of you women are badass goddesses, and we need to bring that out. You need to be that feminine warrior that is like, hey, I am a business owner, I am classy, I have got it going on, and you are going to want to do business with me. I will not chase you ever. The only reason that agents chase people is because they don't have enough leads, or they're attached to the 2 leads that they have, or they're afraid. And I want to get you past that. I don't want you to have lack of confidence. I want you to be so powerful in who you are as a woman. You don't have to chase. Guys, no offense, but men are driven. They have that masculine, right? They're driving, and they're going after and chasing. women, we don't chase, right? That's just not who we are. We're the lily in the valley, and we're just, you know, the bees and the birds come to us. You know, I'm getting way off base here, but it is about being strong and just attracting, and I don't mean attractive. I mean being so authentic and being so confident in who you are and the value that you give, that people are clamoring to work with you. And that is how you effectively lead generate. It's not about calling your database and saying, hey, I know I haven't spoken to you in 3 years, but who do you know who wants to buy, sell, or invest? It is not about calling a for sale by owner expire and saying, hey, I know I saw where your home came up as an expired today on our computer, and I was just calling to see if I assume you still want to sell. So they may, you and 40 other agents are saying that. So what are you going to say differently? How are you going to bring out your authentic voice and who you are? So guys, I hope that this has answered some of your questions. Get over to the masterclass, if you will. Our team is just so excited and always working to help women all across. I mean, it has been crazy this year. We are so blessed, and it has been amazing to see the transformations. And the first step is the masterclass. It is KarenCoffey.com/making agents wealthy. And so I appreciate you joining me today. Sorry about my camera flipping all over the place, and we'll get that straightened out for next time. But making the women of real estate wealthy, not mediocre, not showing up half. It's about fully making you guys wealthy across the scale. So anyway, enjoyed and honored to talk with you guys, and I'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.